Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Taking the Lead. I'm your host, Ken Jacobs of Jacobs Consulting and Executive Coaching. And if you've seen our video podcast before, you know this is where I interview great leaders, mostly from the fields of PR marketing, advertising, etc. We don't talk too much, though, about PR marketing and advertising. As you know, we talk about leadership, that secret sauce, that the art and the science of leading and motivating people. And sometimes we feature acquaintances, sometimes we feature people we've met, but today is a real treat. It is a chance to spend time with someone I consider a dear friend. He's been a supporter of me throughout my career, and I just think the world of him. His name is Mr. Tom Coyne, and as you know, he founded Coyne PR, unbelievable, 33 years ago. So CEO and founder at a very young age. They have won more than 1,000 awards for communications excellence in the last decade. The newest was only in December of 2024, where they won PR Week's Best Place to Work for Midsize Agencies. Other awards, PR Week Midsize, Consumer, Creative Agency of the Year, many, many times. Best Agency to Work for from our friend Paul Holmes. PR News Midsize Agency of the Week of the Year. Top places to work in PR in New Jersey, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Tom personally has been recognized as a finalist for PR Week, PR Pro of the Year, PR Week 40 Under 40. That was a few years ago. Finalist for PR News Agency Executive of the Year, your Ernst& Young Entrepreneur of the Year, just too many. Um, Tom cares a lot, and under his leadership, Coyne PR has donated its time to hundreds of charities. They have literally contributed millions of dollars to local causes in time and talent and money. I want you all to meet my dear friend, Tom Coyne. Tom, welcome to Taking the Lead.
Thank you, Ken. Wow, the greatest introduction ever.
You didn't know you were so good, did you?
I didn't, Ken. I
You got to
literally,
remind
I'm
yourself
gonna play
sometimes.
this for myself each morning.
Do that, and I have to say, I think of all the accolades and all the things I just said, I think what strikes me about you or what resonates with my version of you is the notion of having donated so much to good causes
Yeah,
and of all the awards, that best place to work. I think that's always been the most meaningful for me, and my guess is that's the most meaningful for you.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, it's our cornerstone, really, and like even when you come back to our mission here at the firm, and it's really kept us grounded. And I know you know Rich, who's our president of the firm, an incredible person, and I had the privilege of working with him for many years. You know, our mission here, which we refined together, is to be the best place to work in the industry. Very simple. If you're the best place to work, you will attract and retain the best talent. If you have the best talent, you really are the best agency. Because people come to agencies for people and ideas, and it's my job to like just create an environment where you could foster that because it's really about the team. I know it's my name on the door and my name on the wall, but in general, it's really about, it's really all of us together that make this place what it is.
Absolutely. So let's dig in. I have a few Tom Coynisms, as I call them. And
Okay.
one of my favorites is when you get credit as a leader, respond with a tennis racket, not a baseball mitt. Now, as
True.
Rich Lucas, who you mentioned, will tell you, I don't know a thing about sports, but I know what that means. So
Yes.
I think it's a lesson that many leaders would need to learn. How has that approach when you get credit and for something the agency's done and you respond with a tennis racket, how has that benefited the agency and you?
Well, you know what it is? I think people, and too many times within our industry and within within the world, managers and leaders take too much credit for great stuff. And at the end of the day, they get the credit anyway. But like, it's really like if you authentically real know where the ideas come from or know where the great work comes from, point it out. It's about building people's, because then you just form an incredible ring of trust with people because they don't have to advocate for themselves because you're advocating for them and you're being authentic about it. Like they could smell it if you're like, throwing around stuff that isn't authentic or over crediting. But every chance you get, like I have my philosophy here is I always want to catch people doing things right. Other people are looking out to catch people doing things wrong. Catch them doing it right. Thank them. Applaud them. If you see them here early, walk up and say thank you. And if you see them there late, thank them. Like it's like I don't know. It's a simple thing, but credit is credit is something you give out, and it really means the world to people. And it really when I think over my career, whether it was clients or friends or family, there's nothing. It makes you walk a little taller when you feel like you're making a difference in the world. So why not like help people feel that way?
And it gives you such joy as
Oh,
a
totally.
leader, right? If you're
Yeah.
looking for all the great stuff your team is doing, that's just an amazing. And, most of our teams are doing most of the work right. But I have observed over the years, maybe it's agency, maybe it's Western culture, I don't know, that we tend to go right for what's wrong to let's fix it, but we don't spend enough time on what's right. So let me share a story with everyone. I don't know how many years are you in the third, and I imagine the last office you'll have. How many
No,
years are you there?
oh, I got to be here 15 years now,
Okay,
probably.
so 15 years ago, I'm invited by Tom. Come look at our new office. We did the whole build out, and Tom is just bursting with pride, showing me the conference room with New Jersey's largest rear screen projector.
That's
your
right.
your your garage door glass brainstorming rooms where you can have three small brainstorms, a small and a medium, and one large.
Yeah.
Two cafes, a putt play, all this stuff. I go,
Yeah.
Tom, this is all great, but show me your office. I'm expecting the huge corner office with the big views and the gold-plated toilet. And you actually, this is the third time I've been in or the third office you had, and it was actually the smallest personal office you had
Yes.
ever had. I said, Tom, come on, my God, your name's on the door. You're the man. You're growing. Why don't you have the big office? Do you remember what you said to me?
I don't exactly. What did I
Okay,
say?
so I'll never. You said, what do I need an office for? You said, I'm meeting with clients in the conference room
Yes.
you mentioned. I
Yeah.
am doing I'm a creative guy. I'm in the brainstorms in one of these three garage door, I call them rooms,
Yeah.
or I am just walking around checking in on my people. That's my work. I don't need a fancy office. And my God, I said, man, this guy is right. And look at the success you've had,
Thanks,
not
Coach.
only over the 33 years, but I think especially in those 15 years since you
Yeah.
took the small office. So that stayed with me all those years. Okay.
You are a good guy for remembering that.
Oh
You
my
are.
God,
It's like,
but this is the thing as leaders, when we have Coynisms, or I've mentioned Marina Marisms, or
yeah.
whatever, when we share that leadership wisdom, it stays not just with people like me, but I think it stays with your team. I think they appreciate that you are with them, in the moment as it should be. So this is what only honest answers, only on it. We've known each other a long time.
I know.
What was your toughest leadership moment? Really tough. And how'd you get through it?
Let's see. My toughest leadership moment is, I would have to say, I ran into, I had like a CFO issue probably about 10 years ago.
I remember.
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was like falsified my books, did all this other stuff. It was like, and literally we were pretty thorough, but he did like a lot of damage to turn the company upside down financially. So I got put in a situation where I had to actually deal with laying some people off. And that's the hardest moment for me because I treasure my people. I think they're fantastic. Like, and the last thing I want to do is like literally ever have a situation where I have to let a good person go and it's not their fault. Like, you know what I mean? I really do. Like, and I did everything I could to help place them in jobs and do everything needed to. But that's always my hardest thing is like, because I really try to think about people. I think about who they are, not just in the 8 hours they're with me, but in the 16 they're at home and what they go through in their life and all that. So that's hard for me because I think about like, I'm supporting, literally 150 families I look at sometimes. And I think about what goes through their life and like what they need. And are they putting kids through college? Are they dealing with, did they have a new baby? Like you try to like think about that for them and you got to give grace on all those parts of their life because we needed it too at some point.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that was my hardest thing ever having. Letting good people go is my worst day. And, to flip it on its head, bringing in great people is my best. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember that situation and I remember thinking, God, I hope he can turn this around. This is
Yeah.
just so, it's big. And look, you got through it. And it's easy to lead when things are going well. It's those moments that you're really in the crucible, you're really in the fire that test your spine, your backbone, your heart, and you know, you bounce back. Look at that. But I want to thank you for being so honest. So I'm
Yeah.
going to
And
and
let me give you one analogy on bouncing back too, because this is
yes,
something I say to people
yes.
here all the time. Because, and I know this is leadership, so this is kind of like what I would say to people as a leader is like, when you look at life in general, okay, you're always juggling, right? And you've had this. This isn't my analogy. This is someone else's, but the idea of it is you have different parts in your life that you're juggling. One thing is your health, one thing is your family, and one thing is your work. Okay. And, when you're juggling these things, two of those balls are made of glass and one's made of rubber. So I'll tell people, I'll say, listen, family is glass, your health is glass, work is rubber. It's going to bounce back if you have to like get away from it, but don't neglect your family, don't neglect your health. Go to the recital, take care of yourself, and you know what? We'll cover you when you need coverage with work, and that's something. So your bounce back analogy just brought another random thought out, but it's
And now I
important
have
thought.
another coinism. Look at that. I have another coinism. So to thank you for being so honest and for giving me another coinism, I'm going to share another Tom coinism.
Oh, good.
Success leaves footprints.
Yes.
What are the leadership successes, not the PR or agency management successes, but what are the real leadership successes you experienced that have left footprints and guide how you today inspire and lead your teams and individuals?
Well, a lot of my leadership footprints are like born out of like situations that come about as a company or things I discover. Like, so I'm all about like problem seeking if people are unhappy or if there's any issues. Like, I really want to fix them. Okay. So, at one point, benefits were out of control. You know what I mean? And copays were getting high. And, I heard that on the side. Like, so I literally brought everyone together. I said, tell me what's going on. Like, oh, yeah, these, and they're fine now, but like they're getting high. And I'm like, all right, well, so I said, I'm creating a new fund. All copays are covered. Go to the doctor. Or I'll be like, or like I'll gather like when I redid my maternity policy, I brought together that I happened to have three different women who were pregnant at that point. I said, all right, you guys are writing the maternity policy.
Wow. Wow.
Stuff like that. Because like the idea of it is, and I said, seek out, like, don't just look at our industry, look what's out there. Like try to like let's try to keep figuring it out. And like, I don't know, it's kind of funny because there's always a push and pull, like, because we're in a 24/7 business. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out how to like give people both that freedom and that break from work, but also at the same point, like make sure you're covering your clients. And I think we've made a pretty good art of it because that's what it's about. And I think people know to they'll, when you talk about Thomas, they'll quote back to me. They'll know I chase them out if they have something going on, or like I could tell, I try to spot people if they're feeling antsy about something in a room and it's 10 to 5. I'm like, you have a pickup or what do you, and they'll be like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I said, just go, get out of here.
Yeah.
Call
Yeah.
in. Like, so it's a lot of times that, and I think people know that and I think that's a big thing with life is people have to become well-intended. Like you're a well-intended guy. You're a happy guy. You like to like bring value to people and it comes through. It radiates out of people. Do you know what I mean? You're engaging, same kind of thing. It's like, I think if you authentically start inside as a leader and really want to serve, if you like, and you want to care for your people, and you can't make it about you. It's because it's not at the end of the day. There's a lot of lonely leaders out there who like made it too much about themselves.
Well, I tell you, you mentioned something towards the end of that. There are all kinds of leadership styles. I personally believe servant leadership is the most effective. And, what you just said really encapsulates that beautifully. You're there to serve, you're there to help bring others to their greatest level of success, maybe a success they didn't even know they had
Yeah,
within them. That's
yeah.
that's the beauty of leadership, whether in PR or outside. So speaking of inside and outside PR, who are some of the leaders you admire, whether from inside PR or outside or a little of both, that you really admire, and some quick bullets about why you admire them so much?
Oh, I love Grace Leong from Hunter. Amazing person, vibrant, creative, caring, engaging, and incredibly authentic. And just she tells exactly how it is, but she's just a wonderfully engaging person. I think she's terrific. Andy Polanski, just a great guy, just super guy, kind, nice, generous, and you know what? He doesn't look from a height at people. He looks people in the eye, and really, really you will learn to appreciate them. You know what I mean? Within my own firm, Rich Lucas, John Gogarty, my leadership team, they are all just terrific people who like, and as good a guy as I am, like they help me to be better in some respects. Like I'm well intended, but they'll be like, and even like in a lot of times my leadership team, like, well, and we'll talk about our policies. They'll be like, is this really best place to work? And I'll be like, no, or like, and then we change it. Like, so we check ourselves along the way. It's weird to have a mission that actually everybody knows. Like, and I recognize that in myself. You could ask a lot, you could walk around the halls of different firms and say, can you restate our mission? Most of my people can, with definitely my leadership team does. So it's a big deal. So those are some of the people I admire, but I admire so many people. It's like, it's hard to, make a list, but like
Yeah, yeah.
but they're great. There's just great people in this business. And what I love about this business too, whether I'm judging awards or going to like functions, very smart, dynamic people,
Mhm.
worldly.
You
They
bet.
can they can converse on a range of topics, and they're smart, they're articulate, and I just feel like kind of like PR and communicators think differently. They think at like different levels because they think about the like not just what they put out, but they think about how it's received, which is much different when you could have conversations with folks like
Well, so I want to say you've mentioned two of our guests, Grace
that.
and Andy, have been on the
Yes,
podcast, and I share that admiration with you. And as a coach, I could coach all kinds of people. I'm qualified to coach. Coaching is coaching is coaching, but I have chosen to coach mostly, not exclusively, PR and marketing people, and advertising and communications,
yeah,
because they're smart people who lean into self-improvement and wanting to do better. Like, why would I want to coach? I've coached a few outside. It's not as fulfilling, honestly, as
yeah.
I find for me coaching PR people. So I know exactly what you mean. So let's wrap by saying I knew this would be great. I knew you'd be great. I knew this would be fun, but it was all that and much more. As every interaction with you has been, there have been too many years since we've seen each other in
And
person.
man,
So I'm going to publicly say on this podcast, Asbury Park is very close to Spring Lake.
I will be there.
I'm just going to put this out there. Tom, thank you so much. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Now they can just literally email me at tcoin@coinpr.com. Pretty simple to remember. Come through, visit my website. There's a million ways to link to me, but like hit me up on LinkedIn. At the end of the day, like, I have a tremendous amount of friends in this industry, and I'm open to more, and I'm open to helping people and mentoring because, at the end of the day, you gotta like, you gotta pull the guy up next, the next person's got to get pulled up by somebody. So
Yeah.
we all do a little bit of that. We're just gonna have because it's really about like making sure that this industry stays strong. And we have a lot of great leaders who lead this industry because it's a great industry and it's more important than ever because of like as things evolved, earned media and owned content is really how people are going to like learn about the world. So, and that'll be for another topic, but we'll talk about what is the
for
future
another.
of PR down the road. So, okay.
Anyway, Tom, thank you so much. I do encourage all of you to reach out to Tom. You can tell he is just a great leader and a great human being. And if you want to connect with me to talk about leadership, to understand coaching better, our other services, please reach out, KEN at JACOBSCOMM.com. I'll spell it again, KEN at JACOBSCOMM.com. And as we always say as we end, until next time, keep on taking the lead.